Hey guys, and welcome back. So it's that time of the update cycle again where NWI puts out their survey for the game, and I wanted to go over my thoughts on the game currently and what I think is the most important and kind of elaborate on my own submission of the survey. If you guys haven't taken the survey, I highly encourage all of you to go take about 5, maybe 10 minutes it takes to fill out the survey so we can make our voices heard and they have a good understanding of what the community wants and how to move forward. I will put a link to the survey down below, or you can always go to the community hub on Steam and find it there as well. So basically this is just kind of my elaboration on my submission of the survey, just the things that I found during my hours into the game and really coming back to the game and putting honestly a ridiculous amount of hours within just the past 2 months into the game. But it's really hard to not notice the amount of bugs and the polish that's not really there. And so let's just get into a couple of the survey talking points, and I just want to go ahead and kind of elaborate on some of those points and maybe point out some things that they are not aware of, or maybe things that they are aware of, and really try to drive home what is important right now and what they should be working on to make sure Sandstorm is up to par. So the first 2 points that they have is the quantity and the severity of bugs. I feel like this is the biggest issue right now within the game, is how many bugs and quality of life things are just not working right now. Some of these bugs range from hilarious to incredibly annoying and just plain broken, such as the gas mask bug that we had that I believe has now been patched out. I haven't seen it in a while. The blacked out scopes in spectate, when you're spectating somebody with a variable scope or 4x scope, it'll just black out and you can't see anything. And also the loadouts being overwritten while in game. I don't know if that's intentional or not, but they had said that loadouts were bugged. So let's go ahead and talk about the loadouts. NWI has said that they don't want to make the loadout screen too intimidating to new players, and when you're a new player and you come to the game and you see everything on your loadout screen, it can be pretty intimidating. I know when I tried Insurgency 2014, that was one of the things that was incredibly intimidating. At first I had no idea what to pick, so I do believe that they should keep the loadout screen pretty simple. But with loadouts currently bugged the way that it is, it makes it so you don't have your presets always there on hand. So let's say I select my foul loadout and I want to change it to something else for a while, let's say a pistol round during a DGL match. When I go back and I click on my foul loadout again, it should load the foul loadout that I had initially saved, not what I changed it to while in game. So I think as long as NWI can fix loadouts to a point where you are actually able to save a loadout and always have it there on hand, and if I switch my foul loadout to something else and then go back to click on my foul, it'll automatically load up the actual loadout that I expect it to load, then I think this would really help new players who go in, they make loadouts on their customized screen, and then they get into game, and then they switch it up a little bit, and then they go back to click on their loadout, and they're like, what the hell happened? What happened to my loadout? It's changed. This isn't what I had before. I think that would definitely help a little bit of player retention, and honestly, it's just a basic mechanic of the game. It should save like this, and if this isn't at the top of their storyboard to get fixed, I would be incredibly surprised. And also, while I possibly have NWI attention with this video, I just want to point out that the Alpha AK mag, when in-game, is still currently not the one that was promoted within the actual DLC itself. As you can see, that's a nice black P mag, and on the other one it's still that steel mag, and that mag is sexy. Please fix this. Now, the next bug that I want to bring up is one that's kind of personal for me, since I am a comp player and I want to promote competitive play, but ranks are currently broken in game, and even if you've done your 10 placement matches, you will still technically be unranked. In the game, in the main menu, you'll be unranked. And right now, as somebody who is trying to promote competitive play, it's really hard to do that when someone comes into my stream or something like that and I'm in my main menu and it says unranked, even though I believe I'm plat 2 or plat 3 at this point. It's really hard to promote the competitive scene when the rank isn't accurately reflected in, technically isn't reflected at all, period, within the game itself. You can still go to the leaderboards. I'll leave a link for that down below so you can check your rank, and that is still reflected accurately. But I honestly don't even know how you could break this to begin with, but it's something that shouldn't be exactly at the top of the leaderboard, but it's something that I want to promote, something I want to tell players about and try to get more players into. So having that broken for me is one of the big ones personally. Now, these next couple of points I don't believe are really bugs, but I do believe it is something that NWI should look into to make players' lives easier. And the first of which is the replay. Replay is easily one of the coolest things Sandstorm has to offer, but it's an incredibly clunky thing to handle. And if you're like me, you want to get cool shots, go back and get those kills from the last game, or just want to analyze your last match, it's incredibly hard to do so since the controls are just not intuitive enough and can sometimes be really buggy. For instance, bringing up the map and clicking on the arrow of the person you want to spectate will instead take the input as a left click and send you to the next person in spectate instead of sending you to the person you clicked on. From there, you'll need to click on it again, get your cursor back, then be able to hit tab to bring up the list to try and attempt to get them again. Some love in this department would be really awesome in the long run and could help with spectate problems overall as well, I believe. Now, spectate is broken from its own point of view, breaking away from just the replay function in and of itself. Now, this is more from watching DGL matches, but I can really tell when someone is frustrated due to the scope bug, which blacks out the scope and they can no longer see, and also that they have to bring up a map, which cuts off vital entertainment time, select the next person they think is about to get into a firefight, and hope that they get to them before they get into the firefight. I think from an entertainment point of view, it would be great if there was some more intuitiveness to the spectate option that could possibly look at players and just automatically go to the person that is most likely to spot out an enemy instead of having to bring up the map, analyze it real quick, then hope you get to that person before the firefight actually starts. Currently, spectate works much better than the replay system, but a little bit more love here could possibly help with comp events and overall just make things more entertaining, because come on, it's all about the entertainment at that point. Now, moving on to something that is actually a gameplay, I guess I'll go ahead and call this a bug, but it is with push, and it's honestly one of the most greasy things that you can do in the game right now, and that's forward capping. Currently, players can go into the restricted zone and get to point B before point A is capped and already be on that point and be ready for it once point A is taken. To me, this is crazy. If the pushing team goes into a red zone, it should have about a 10-second timer, and if they don't get back into the play zone within that time, it should kill them. Simple fix in my eyes, maybe not from a dev point, but currently it's the most greasy thing you can do in the game. I've tried it myself. I've been on the team where someone else has forward capped, and it's just horrible. Now, I've spent about 10 minutes now talking about bugs and stuff, but there's one last thing that I really want to talk about, and anyone who's come into my stream would know that I've developed a severe hatred of ministry. Why is that? Because I hear people running up on me on C when I'm all the way up on the balcony on A. There's currently absolutely no vertical sound in the game. This may be a huge overhaul. I've heard that they've tried to do vertical sound. It would just make the game lag out. But if we want more maps like Ministry that are multiple stories, a vertical sound is needed. When in other buildings on other maps, you can take a second to kind of look around, and if you hear them, you know, okay, they're going to be on the bottom floor instead of on your floor. But on Ministry, it's always a gamble if the enemy is on your floor or not, and you can hear somebody run up on you, look to your 6, then realize they're down below all the way 2 stories down from you on C when you're holding A, and it can just screw everything up. This may be a huge overhaul in development department. I'm not too sure, but if we want to continue to see maps like Ministry that have multiple levels, it's just something that they're going to have to look into sooner rather than later. And right now, Ministry is almost unplayable in my eyes due to this, because it's just so game breaking in my opinion. Now, there are definitely more bugs to talk about than just these points, but these were the more major issues that I was seeing. There's also broken animations with some guns and some grips and reloading and other things that got broken along the way with Operation Cold Blood. But the NWI has already said that their focus now is going to be on bugs and quality of life, and I really hope they continue with that path, because again, this can either go one of 2 ways right now. One, they do Operation Health and they double down on Sandstorm and make it a game for the long run, or they create another game and do Insurgency Sandstorm 2 or something else. But I'm really hoping they double down on Sandstorm, get these bugs worked out, get Sandstorm to a really, really good spot, and that way we'll keep players, we'll be able to bring in more players, and who knows, we may even get some more love in the comp scene as well. Now, the next thing that they had on the survey is their performance issues / optimization. Now, from my last video, you guys know that the game runs fine for me. Like, it's not the most insane, like it's not like CSGO and you're getting 300 frames or anything, but I would never expect this to run at 300 frames right now. But right now, for me personally, performance and optimization is in a good spot. It is where it should be, in my opinion. I know there are some people that have problems running the game, but also performance and optimization, I believe, comes just through the lifespan of a game. And yes, they can have patches that are specifically for optimization, but in all honesty, unless this is something they're specifically focusing on, it's just something that you can expect with probably every single update, or at least hope comes out with every single update. So it's kind of a moot point. It will always be an issue, but it's never not an issue. Now, their next 2 topics is a lack of maps and guns. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm always happy to get a content drop. The new SAS and the Garand have been pretty great, but I can't help to think that a certain mod has been putting out new guns consistently, and we're only just now getting 2 more guns. Take that how you will. So, on the topic of maps, the new map Bab, I do like Bab. I think it's a good looking map, and it's an open concept to really drive home the 2 new snipers that we got, but it's easily one of my bottom tiered maps for me, since I'm never a sniper personally, and the more I play it, the more I don't like it, where normally their maps are more elongated and kind of like an alleyway, so to speak. Bab is more of a stump and kind of feels like a giant box instead of a progressing map, due to how far left and how far right you can go out. But again, that's kind of due to them wanting more of an open map to make use of the new sniper rifles that they just gave us. But I'm never a sniper. The more I play it, the more it just seems so different from the other maps that we have right now, which can be a good thing or a bad thing. I know some people love Bab, but for me personally, it just kind of missed the mark in terms of an Insurgency Sandstorm map, in my opinion. And again, with all of the community maps that are out right now, getting 1 map and 2 guns every major content update, which could be, about every 4 to 6 months, give or take, they add about maybe 2 more guns and 1 more map. It seems like the community is actually getting in front of NWI and putting out content more consistently than NWI is. I know putting in community maps into a vanilla experience could be a legal and development hellhole, but just there is that content out there, and in all honesty, at this point, I would have preferred to see Toro make its way into the vanilla experience almost instead of Bab, but that's a whole different conversation, and I know you can't just sell a game with community-made stuff. I'm no legal expert, but that sounds like hell to me. But every 6 months getting maybe 2 guns and 1 new map, it just feels more like a content drip, even though these are pretty major content drops. Now, their next point is the AI problems. Now, I'm not a big PvE person, but I know a lot of people like the PvE, and their recent change to factions has now been reverted, where security only got security weapons and insurgent only got insurgent weapons to help with the move to PvP, but we'll kind of talk about that later. Obviously, that was really smart on NWI's part to go ahead and revert that change, but also at the same time, it kind of makes you wonder why they think PvE people are going to move over to PvP. It'd be great if they did, but I don't think that's the way to try to get people to move over to PvP. But talking about the AI, I've played against the AI before. I know that they can be godlike or they can be complete imbeciles. There's basically no in between, and you'll get shot through smoke and you'll get wall banged by snipers. It's just the way of AI. The bottom line on the AI problems, and that everyone has to understand, is that you are never going to win against a bot. Bots just let you win. The bot is always going to be better than you. The bot is always going to be able to snap to your head. And it's the development of that AI to make it more human-like that is the hard part. And to me, I kind of feel like, again, that's something else that should be put on the community and not so much the devs, and then they can go ahead and make tweaks one way or the other. Again, I'm not development. I don't know how much hell that is. Developing an AI to play a game seems really simple, but that simple is making them godlike and shooting you through walls, while the hard development is getting them to act more like humans, where if you want them to act more like humans and not shoot you through smoke, go play PvP. So guys, that's going to pretty much wrap it up for the survey. If you guys haven't filled out the survey yet, I again still highly suggest that you use the link down below or head over to the Steam page and find the survey and go ahead and fill it out so they can know what the community wants as a whole and what they should start to focus on, because as we know with COVID, everything has been shaken up and nobody knows which way the world's going to go. So the more info we give to them, the better that they are going to be able to tell their teams what to work on. So again, I highly suggest that you go fill it out, but please do make sure you're staying on point. And these guys are still humans. I know it can be hard to stay calm about something you're passionate about, but try to keep criticism as constructive as possible. So that's going to wrap up this video. I really do appreciate all you guys, all the likes and all the views on the past couple of videos that I've gotten. Really never expected any of those to blow up, so thanks a lot, guys. Until then, leave a comment down below what you think that NWI should really be focusing on now. Like I said before, I really think it should be these bugs and just making sure everything is in a good spot. Do you think the AI really needs that much of an overhaul? Do you think they need to be dropping maps and guns like nobody's business? Just let me know what you guys think needs to be done to get Sandstorm in a good spot. Until then, thank you. I appreciate you, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Minus their rocks?
Carry dumpster or lumber?
Okay.
Slide left chain.
He's not lumber.
Claim B 90. Claim B from 90 theirs.
Minus?
Their shrine. A's 50 for us.
I'm dead from their shrine. He's moving to B.
Further left.
Yep.
10.
Nice.